beautiful tribe. I hope that you're having a great day today. Happy day after the new moon, and happy month of September to you all. It is September 3rd, 2024, and it is time to vibe with the tribe and feed that there prediction addiction, friends. So much happening in our world. So much. So many people are becoming more than just being fed up. And we have more exciting, what I find to be more exciting is more people are actually beginning to see through that veil of darkness that has been hiding truths for so long, friends. Truths that are going and must be released to the masses. It's coming. Truths unlike anything that we could have imagined. The truths about us, our journey, where we've come from, and even where we're going. So much. The energies have been so intense this past week or two actually, causing more people, have you noticed, to suffer issues when it comes to their health, overwhelming feelings of anxiety, and of course that flow of emotions that really has caused even more anxiety for people. This is all just in preparation for this time that we're in, and this is preparation in what we would call ascension symptoms. Ascension symptoms as we continue to ascend in a much different way in the month of September. I did a video, the 11 signs of ascension, 11 symptoms of ascension sickness, basically. You should check that video out. I'll make sure a link pops up above. I feel the energies lately unlike anything that I've ever felt before. It's been quite interesting. Experiencing or witnessing alongside of all the visions, and what I must say, I feel something much bigger is upon us. I'm sure you're feeling the same thing, something much, much bigger, and I can't even imagine what's heading our way, friends, and it doesn't feel really good, to be quite honest with you. So yes, of course, good's going to follow all of this. Good always follows, and Spirit ensures us that good. This will all lead to good, what we're in and what we're about to step in as we step down that very, very rocky road. But there's also this super rough patch, of course, that we have to go through first. And I'm going to explain all about that today. I just put out the September's forecast and predictions a couple days ago, and already we see predictions of major walkouts and strikes beginning to hit. Thousands of hotel workers walked off the job threatening tourism. Hotels, just like many walkouts. Not only that, we see this happening in other countries besides the hotels here in the United States and workers. We see in Australia the sugar factory workers on strike. What else? There's something else on strike in Australia. But it's happening everywhere, friends. People were waking up. And I'm going to tell you all about this and why this is all happening and who else might be on the way on strike. Remember my past visions of the plane falling out of the sky, and which sadly did come into fruition last month in Brazil, when a plane carrying, a lot of people don't realize, doctors and experts who were about to blow the whistle on something big. After that plane fell out of the sky, that event, Spirit told us that we would see more planes randomly fall, which is pretty strange, to say the least. Planes don't just fall out of the sky. Sadly, once again, this has allegedly become a reality, because some people report that it fell out of the sky, and then other reports are just saying a plane crashed in the state of Oregon. A smaller plane that also caused thousands of people to lose their power and power outages for residents. So what's going on with aeroplanes, friends? What exactly? And is this it? Is this going to be the last one? Or is there more to come with this? Because part of the awakening, Spirit says, involves all aspects, all corporations. So an awakening of the truth we've seen with the Boeing and the whistleblowers that are no longer with us. No coincidence there. So this is, again, all about bringing us to a level of knowledge and wisdom where we're seeing right through that veil of darkness. Something that many people are seeing already, but not enough. Not enough at all. And remember my visions and predictions a while back that we would see many disasters related to oil fields, oil refineries, refinery fires, Some that reminded me going back to Desert Storm. For those who might remember Desert Storm, I saw a few smaller scale oil fires in the Ukraine. We've already seen some smaller scale ones in Ukraine and in Russia. But now there's even more concerns around attacks on oils. And it is, according to Spirits, part of the plan to push us into the, their so-called battery-powered world, which is even worse for the planet than anything, with all those chemicals and the way they dig them up to make those batteries for your electro cars. So Russia just lost 74 fuel tanks from fire and an attack. And I feel there's a lot more to come, and not just in Russia. It's an attack on oil, something that goes back to some past predictions. So the issue with the not-so-legals entering countries is once again becoming a heightened issue. And we see in places like New York City, friends, this is crazy. New York City, their arrests skyrocketed, and 75% of their arrests, which is 3 out of 4 people, friends, being arrested in New York City, are folks that aren't supposed to be here or are not here legally, let's put it that way. In Indiana, a teen girl was hit, stabbed, unfortunately, by an illegal from Honduras. And we all know the story of what's happening over there in the United Kingdom and other places due to the invasion of our borders, which was all part of the 2030 agenda from the United Nations and some of their friends. A lot of things, again, people aren't aware of. I know most of you, if not all of you, are aware of that by now. So is this going to escalate to another level when it comes to the borders and people crossing over our borders? I'm going to explain today. So much on one of the anxiety, friends, occurring with people all over our planet. People are literally getting totally fed up with the world, and the world's just big. We're literally on the edge of the biggest changes ever on the planet Earth. It's going to be beyond interesting. But what does this all mean, really? What do these changes mean? What's it all mean? What exactly is coming, and when shall we expect these waves of energy followed by major events coming in the near future? All of this, along with new predictions on this episode number 133 of Tuesday's Prediction Update. And do y'all know what time it is?
It's Teatime, baby.
Beautiful friends, beautiful tribe. Once again, I hope that you're having an amazing day today. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. And if you are new here and you want to vibe with our awesome tribe, don't forget to smash that there subscribe, the bell, and all, so that you hopefully get notifications. And if you don't see me pop up in your notifications or on your feed by Wednesday of each week, then you got to go directly to my channel to ensure that you didn't mysteriously become unsubscribed from this channel. Down below, you'll find the link to all my social media content, including the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community of supporters and the supporters of the communities down below who make all this free content possible for everybody else. You are awesome, and I appreciate you with infinite love and gratitude. Also, the free newsletters down below with all the astrology, numerology for September to keep you flowing through the month with ease and joy so you know what to expect, how to make the best out of it, along with all July's content in case you missed any. So check that out, sign up for free, and if you get any notifications on any platforms, especially TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, that appear to be me in private messages, it is not me, I assure you. It is a fake account posing to try to manipulate you into giving them money or gift cards. Please report those profiles immediately. No need to email the office because unfortunately it happens all the time. And when you report those profiles, we'll get an email that it was reported. So then you don't need to email us. Also, I have a premiere coming up of channel predictions, which has been on my Subscribe Star platform for a couple days now. I hope to have that up tomorrow night, but I do have plans tomorrow. So it probably won't be up till Thursday evening. but it'll definitely be up. It's done. It's edited. I just got to upload it. I'm actually going to upload it tonight. So keep an eye out for those channel predictions where we go more in depth on 2025 and what's ahead. So shall we move on, friends, to episode number 133.
Tittle tea time, baby.
So have you been feeling extremely strange over the past week or two? Perhaps flowing with more anxiety and nervousness, along with perhaps some stomach issues, feeling a little dizzy at times, maybe even having a little bit of vertigo at times, disrupted sleep patterns. Have you also noticed you may be suddenly seeing things with a little bit more clarity, a little bit more brightness? Like you woke up and everything's a little bit brighter, just a little bit. So you might not have noticed. Have you also noticed how the sun has been maybe burning your eyes when you go outside? You know, that's been happening to me. I go outside, I got to put sunglasses on, as if I'm snow blinded. You ever been snow blinded? Some of you live in places where there's no snow. Well, when there's snow everywhere and the sun's out and you go outside, you are blinded. You cannot see. It's crazy. And that's how it's been a lot lately. So what do you think that's all about? Oh, I know what it's all about. Most of it's about the energies we've been flowing through, along with the ascension and what we can call ascension sickness symptoms, which again, I left the link up above. You can check out my video I did, I think last year, on the 11 signs of ascension and the symptoms of sickness that go along with ascension. So this is all a very big, huge part, again, of the incoming energies, and at times a bit unbearable, like literally a bit unbearable. We're still lingering, friends, in that post-shadow of the Mercury retrograde, which will be here until September 11th. So September 12th, we're out of it. And that date, September 11th, is a date that I was pulled to strongly when I was preparing my forecast for September, which usually I forgot all about that. I usually put dates that pop out at me at the end of that forecast, and I didn't do that. But when I started the forecast, that one date jumped out at me, September 11th. We got a lot going on this year. September 23rd was a date that jumped out at me today very, very strongly. Something big. Something happening right after the day after the equinox and the day after my BD, baby. So this is, again, all a really big part of it. And I would, again, expect something really huge on the 11th. Not sure what exactly, but certainly probably connected to some of my past predictions, along with the 23rd. I've observed many people, as you may have too, over the past week, and strongly noticed how sickly many people and their energies are lately. It was kind of a little bizarre. It's very strange, actually. I even saw it with two of the old folks in the neighborhood, and even their dog's energy looked sickly. Crazy. We're seeing this sudden loss, too, of so many good people just suddenly passing away. Like my beautiful dear friend, Susie, just suddenly, after surgery, that I did tell her not to get till during a retrograde. Retrograde, speaking of surgeries during retrograde, if you're getting something taken out or removed, like say you're having a cyst removed or something taken out and removed, that's good. But if you're having something fixed or repaired, you should never have anything fixed or repaired. That includes your car or anything else, unless it's inevitable and in a medical emergency, of course. Other than that, if you can prolong it a little bit, you should. And everything is, again, in accordance to our soul contracts. But you may have noticed this. As Susie left this realm last Tuesday night, and the same night, another neighbor in the neighborhood was taken to the hospital as well with symptoms with numbness in the face and like one side or something like that, which you would think could be connected to maybe a stroke. Now, I know for pretty 99% sure that person got all those boosters too. Just saying. So I see this really weird, sickly energy coming in that I've never witnessed like this in my life, and not on this level anyway. And it's, unless you're in a hospital, I've witnessed it, but not a common day going out shopping or something. And it's something beyond strange to me and a little bit concerning. I try not to ever get overly concerned or stressed out about things. So to say the least, it was concerning. So what is it exactly? What exactly is this? And are you seeing it? Are you seeing this too? I want to know in the comments. I have friends that have family members that are dealing with problems with health. I have family members dealing with major health stuff. It's pretty crazy. So I believe this is all connected to perhaps one of my past predictions in the subject of what I believed I covered a few weeks ago here on the show. And some type of a mass exodus of sorts is coming. And perhaps not even coming. Perhaps this already has arrived and it's on our doorsteps happening now. And people in the medical field, even my friend that Mike works in the medical field, just told me this morning that the hospitals are just jam-packed. There's like no room for all the people. And there's no outbreaks or anything, right? Nothing like 2020. But there is. There's all kinds of things happening to people. So this is the most important part of many messages received from Spirit. The mass exodus information coming to me, and not just me, others as well. I had another good friend of mine text me last night. Oh, I have this bad feeling and a whole bunch of people were about to leave. I'm like, yeah, I just said it on my show a couple weeks ago. And I've said it over a year ago. I might have even said it a couple years ago. Probably maybe even 3 years, because sometimes it takes 3 years for some predictions to come into fruition. But I've been seeing this for a while. But now I'm feeling it. So it's much, much different when you start to feel it and feel like you're witnessing it. So now as we approach this time, I'm also receiving this message that all of us need to basically know what's coming so that we can prepare and not drop into that state of fear. As we always say, don't be scared, be prepared for all situations and scenarios. Predictions, people are, oh, they're doom and gloom. Well, these are events going to happen. Don't you want to know ahead of time so that you can prepare for them? Excuse me, so that when it happens, you're not totally caught off guard. Right? Like the bridge that fell. You weren't caught off guard by that if you watched my show now, weren't you? Not at all. That was just a simple, small, tiny, a little itty-bitty example, friends. Just a little tiny one. So we can prepare ourselves, again, and not drop into that state of fear. As I explained in the past over and over again, our soul contracts determine our fate. And some of our decisions in between, because some of us have several exit points in our soul contracts. So, your own personal decision, but it's your soul contract. And for the most part anyway, but we all have many potential future destinies. It's another important thing. I tell all my clients, we all have many future, very orchestrated, extremely very well orchestrated potential futures before we enter this life. Every day is a new opportunity for us to shift things in a new direction or choose a different path when we're aware of that. Unfortunately, most people are not aware of that. We've been so well programmed with, words that you hear all the time. Oh, it's fate, it's destiny. Oh, it's okay, it's meant to be, right? Oh, but there's nothing we can do about it. Oh, these are all programs of the darkness, programming you to believe that you're not in charge of your life, you're not in charge of your future. That's all a bunch of baloney. Bunch of malarkey, as JB would say. That's all a bunch of malarkey. You are in charge of your life and your future. So here's an example. Like for me, I was told from whatever aligns in my soul contract, I don't have all the details. I have feelings and kind of think I know, but I really don't have all the details. But I was told back in 2013, between 2012 and 2013, that I needed to get off the East Coast of the United States by 2025 for me, for my soul contracts. I was never told why exactly. Otherwise, I was told why. I was told I needed to go where I am now to fulfill my fullest potential and the highest good in my soul contracts, to fulfill my highest good potentials in my soul contracts. Which means to me, maybe I wouldn't make it for whatever's going to happen. It doesn't mean something's going to happen on the East Coast. But maybe my energy, something would have affected me, and maybe 2025 would have been, my doom and gloom for good. I don't know. We'll find out when 2025 comes and passes, if it has anything to do with the East Coast of the United States. But what if I didn't take that advice? Because there's times where Spirit told me to do things I didn't. Like my last relationship told me to end that years prior. I didn't. And then when it did come to an end, it was hellish for me, not for them. I should have listened. See, you always must listen to your intuition, friends. So if you're getting pulled and feel this need, instead of trying to figure out, like I did for 7 years, how am I going to do that? How am I going to move out of here? Where am I going to get the money? Oh my God. Have a vision and trust and know and tell the universe what you need to get there. So for me, I was like, I need 10 grand or more to help me with the move across country. Always say or more to give the universe, options. Because what if you need more? I didn't. I didn't realize it. If I would have just got 10 grand, I wouldn't have paid for the whole move and what I needed once I got here. So everything landed on my lap. More than I even could have wished for. Just have a vision. Follow your heart. Follow your intuition. This is the time. Your destiny is in your hands. Not your friends, not your family. I know we love our friends and family, but we have no control over their destinies and the fate of their soul contracts. So, and some people I know won't leave where they're at. Oh, I can't leave because of family or this reason. And they make up excuses. And again, even though their intuition's telling them to leave, and then say years later or 5 years or 10 years later, something happens and totally affects their life, not for the highest good. Just saying. To listen to your intuition, because remember, we've been getting these downloads since 2020, and people are way more intuitive than usual, especially the younger people. It's going to even get better and better. So remember, Spirit told us that these shifts are coming and events are all a way to bring forward so many truths, especially truths revolved around our food and our water supplies. Something really important. I was just talking to my friend today about this, who works in the medical system, about how everything, we have to be really mindful of our surroundings, They try to put toxins all around us in our environments, whether it's in the skies above us, whether it's in different foods, especially if you're eating processed foods. Now, you can eat and be healthy and not have to worry about this. You just got to be mindful of what you're eating and what you're putting in the water that you're drinking. And especially if you're drinking water from a public water supply. I wouldn't trust that water. You'd have to have a reverse osmosis system for me to even drink that water. And I still wouldn't want to drink that water. But I would if I had to, but we're reverse osmosis. So the global elite have worked very, very hard since World War II, friends, to push this agenda. While, of course, profiting billions and billions off of sick people especially. And this is the truth that many people are going to have the biggest issue with when that truth comes out. People aren't going to want to admit to it or want to believe it. Learning that there truly, truly is a dark evil on this planet. And this dark evil on this planet that wants nothing more than to bring suffering and pain upon humanity. It's awful. My mama used to always say, this is hell, we're living in it. This is it. And I believe it's a combination of both, like everything in the universe, yin and yang, positive and negative. It's what you plug into. Because I've been on both sides of the fence in this lifetime. I've been in hell and I'm here in heaven now. So it's up to you what you make of it. But I believe my mama was right. That's it. Because the afterlife is much different. We all pretty much, except for the dark entities, we all go to the same place. We all transition differently as well, depending again on our soul contracts and such. So this is the truth again when it comes out about the foods, and it's coming out. It's just, again, certain people don't want to admit it. Another thing I've seen a lot of videos on lately, people showing videos, Costco, one of them is like the salmon and the fish with the worms in it, parasites, which I saw when I used to work in a seafood market when I was younger. I was a manager right out of high school at Acme Food Market Seafood. I remember halibut was the one. Halibut would always come in, and sometimes it would have worms in it, and I would send it back. I would never put that out. Because then they crawl into the other fish. Because I've seen that happen. I've seen that in a grocery store one time. I saw the parasite worms crawling from one to the other. Now I love sushi. Oh boy, especially Go Sushi Flagstaff, Arizona, baby. They're not a sponsor, but man, I'll sponsor them. But I'm afraid to go now. Like I have this nervousness about that. Nervousness. Now, I'll eat cooked salmon. I love cooked salmon. I get my salmon from my friend from Alaska. It's the best salmon on the planet, in my opinion. And it don't have nothing in it because it's fresh caught, and we know. That stuff you see in the grocery stores, most of it is farm raised. That's why. Find some natural, good seafood. Like, don't go to Costco. Go to Whole Foods. They actually, believe it or not, Whole Foods has good meats. I don't know about their fish. I don't buy fish because, again, I have a friend that sends me fish, and the only other fish I buy is shrimp. But they have really good meats, in my opinion, if you're a meat eater, that is. So the truth coming off about all these people not being well, and it's been happening to humans for thousands of years, actually. This dark evil wanting to cause pain and suffering. Got an itchy scalp. Itchy forehead, I mean. So, this is where we're heading. This is where it all changes, friends. This is where it all changes in the future. This has to come out. As uncomfortable as it is, as disturbing as some of it's going to be, it has to come out. We can't change it until we know what's happening, right? And that's this whole system that we're in. The collapse of the current system. We're here, it's happening. It has to happen. The medical system, for example, is built on profit and working with lobbyists around them to help push more illness on people in many different forms. Again, food, water, whatever. Your environmental issues, too much radiation around you. That's why another thing you should have, friends, in your little survival cabinet is some iodine. Spirit just told me, I always have it in my cabinet. It's important. I only take it every once in a while, but Spirit just recently told me to start taking it. Not every day, but a couple times a week. Spirit didn't tell me why. And I was also told to buy another quality, another bottle. I didn't get specifics about that either. So iodine is one of them things that are extremely important, especially if there's a radiation around you. We're exposed to radiation all the time with your computer and your cell phone and all that, friends. So some good iodine will help you with that. But Spirit, I'm just sharing because Spirit told me to do it. And when Spirit tells me to do something, I'm sharing it with you too, because messages for me are messages for the tribe, baby. Oh yeah. So this is where, again, it all going to change in the future. No more of the suffering or the enslavement of humans or any other creature for that matter. That includes all the animals and all the creatures on this planet. This is all going to lead humanity to the highest level of vibration. Something that actually literally has never occurred on the earth. And not only on the earth, literally in the universe. We are going to make universal history. Not just earth history. We're making universal history. So moving right along, yesterday we had the wonderful new moon in the sign of Virgo. Yes, us Virgos are very, very neat and organized. Most of us, not all of them. It depends on which area of your life. Because we're organized and neat and picky in some areas, but not in all areas. And it also really depends what your ascendant is and your moon sign. That all has a lot to do with who you are. And sometimes people's moon sign can override their sun sign with their personality traits. Like my moon in Cancer overrides a lot of I have a lot more Cancer traits, interesting enough, than I did Virgo. So this is also, this whole Virgo and the new moon, of course, is bringing with it for us all this more refreshing energy of clarity that's going to help us and help assist us in seeing with a bit more clarity and seeing things more clearly with your personal life and again in the world. With all this energy of these sickly people, the Virgo moon is actually here. The new moon in Virgo is actually here, this waxing moon cycle, to help us to focus on better health and self-improvement. So you got the stars on your side right now, friends, when you want to think and consider having a much more healthier lifestyle or how you can improve yourself and your life. It's all about self-improvement. Stay grounded during this waxing moon cycle. Very important. It's important all the time, but especially now. Stay grounded. Pay more attention to the details around you and the details and everything that you're doing. And make this time cycle and this waxing moon a time for us to take small steps towards your goals and desires. Just little steps. That you just got to take little steps. It's a small staircase. It's a small staircase. And being yesterday, not yesterday, but how long ago was it? A week ago or so, beings that we just came out of the direct Mercury retrograde energy. It was just over a week ago. And now we are flowing out of this, we're still in, but flowing out of this post-shadow Mercury retrograde right now, currently in Leo. This is a time where we absolutely always seem to witness folks having issues with their body and with their mind, which also leads to spirit as well, whether it be health ailments, mental struggles, anxiety, including mental illness. Mercury is all about bringing things to the surface, whether it be truth coming to the surface, past traumas coming to the surface, all these things, pains from the past, even sometimes people from the past show up in our lives, bringing back all those emotions and lots of emotions. That's what that retrograde does too, brings up all those emotions, and it does so for a reason. It does so that we can actually flow through these issues and face these issues and kick their butt so that we don't have to worry about issues with health and such in the future. We only get so much time in accordance to our own personal soul contracts to get the work done. And if we don't get the work done, the universe is going to come in with the broom and the sweeper and sweep and suck everything up with the vacuum, and you really don't want that to happen. We want universe to help us with all the other things, of course, and the blessings and the miracles and what we need. But when it comes to things we're supposed to do ourselves, you don't want universe to have to come in and do it for you. That's never a good idea. So this cycle that brings up all these emotions and all this stuff, if we fail again to work through these issues and work hard towards the flow of healing energy, this is bound to turn to illness, disease, or ailments, like even just pulling out your back or hurting your knee or waking up or having headaches all day. This is all part of the energy, but it's also part of the emotions and something that you're holding on to. So once you learn that, it'll help you flow through these cycles even more. Like I said, my friends in the medical system the hospitals, they all get jam-packed right after the retrograde. Everything is emotionally and energetically connected. So the energy leads to sick emotions, sick energy. Sick energy leads to sick emotions, which eventually leads to body illness on some level. Those who work hard in the medical field, again, already, and any of you all here that work in the medical field, you're already seeing it. You should be seeing it. You should be seeing how super busy it is. And doctors working really, really hard, hospitals being overwhelmed with patients. And that's now. That's this first week of September, which I probably told you in early August. That's going to happen because it always happens right after retrograde. So the next time we'll see that happen is early January, because our next big retrograde cycle is in the end of November into December, and the post-shadow ends in early January. Or I actually think it might end December 31st, actually. So regardless, the end of December into early January, that's when we're going to see, again, a lot of people facing issues with health and perhaps even exiting and deciding not to be here anymore. We see a lot of people pass during those cycles. And I've had my own personal and seen and witnessed so much of that over the past couple of weeks of people passing. It's interesting, to say the least. So those that are overwhelmed, remember to ground your energy. Friends, got to ground. This is really important. Also, be sure to face those emotions. I know that's not always easy. Spirit always tells us drink lots of good water and avoid toxic drinks like soda, alcohol, and processed foods and fast foods. That includes processed foods and fast foods are in the same category. So I know and feel strongly that major events, unlike anything that we could imagine, are about to hit, one after another. And we must always keep our mind and our visions on the future Earth, knowing that these coming events are all part of the awakening of something much bigger, and a bigger awakening of the masses to the truth and the evil control over humanity, in order to break us free from those chains of enslavement that us and our ancestors have been under for thousands of years, literally. Everything around has practically been tainted by the darkness with dark agendas, and so many folks still don't see it. It's crazy to me. So, for example, again, the medical system who wants you not to be well. They don't want you to be well. They want you to be sick. That's not positive, friends. It's not positive at all. That means that it was built on true evil, and it's going to collapse. And actually, it's already beginning to collapse. We see hospitals closing in rural areas, which is also wrong. It's because they can't profit. That's not why they're closing. But it is part of the collapse. The collapse of everything and the new healing methods coming into play in the next decade, including the frequency healing, new types of natural medications. Some of the medications that we have now will still exist, probably like Motrin, but there'll be others, and you won't even need Motrin. Spirit said they won't need Motrin. Okay, we won't need Motrin. You won't have a headache. You won't need it. So tomorrow, I remind you, a powerful movement is coming into play tomorrow. We have Mars entering Cancer, and this is bound to shift emotions into a level that's just crazy. So again, just be grounded, friends. Go out and hug a tree, like I tell you all the time. Go out and connect with nature. Flow through these emotions by channeling them into something positive. Whatever it may be, go find a good. Now's a great time to start a new. Well, we're only in the post shadow, but to start some new creative project. Not a big, massive project. I would wait till the 12th to do that. You know, like if you were remodeling something, ripping down walls in your house, I would wait till the 12th to do that. But if you wanted to start a new creative project, like, you know, take some pottery or draw a painting or whatever, yeah, now's the perfect time. Starting tomorrow as those emotions start coming in. With the Mars in Cancer, that's bound to ignite some things globally. And remember, Cancers are the most intuitive of the zodiac, and they are also the most sensitive and most defensive too. They get very defensive. So they're extremely empathic and sensitive, the most of all zodiac signs. So do not plug into that energy. Do not plug into that energy. And when you feel a need to be defensive yourself, again, just take a couple deep breaths. Think about it before getting all defensive, because you may end up regretting it afterwards. Because if you're acting defensive, you're probably acting on emotions on top of that. I mean, it's inevitable, right? So this energy is a perfect time to focus on the comfort of your home and your surroundings. To get your house, you know, it's like spring cleaning, fall cleaning, whatever. The southern hemisphere for y'all down there, like down there in Australia, might. Yeah, spring cleaning, perfect time. Start your spring cleaning right now. And for us, it's our fall cleaning, getting everything ready for the winter months. This is the perfect time. Get your home in order. Get your home, get stocked up, get ready for the winter. It's going to be a doozy, friends. I expect this alignment that with the Mars in Cancer is also going to bring about more BS, a lot of BS, when it comes to the lying media. Yes, the fake media. In an attempt to make Americans and other countries emotional on many levels. So they're out to strike up emotions purposely this month. Yeah, they probably have astrologers that work for them too. They probably have astrologers, psychics, and numerologists that work for them saying, yeah, now's the time to bring up their emotions and make them angry. So don't watch those news outlets, friends. I'm sure most of you here don't anyway. I watch it just to see what they're lying about today. They want you to be mad. They want you to be angry, and they want one side. Well, they want to anger one side, of course, and at the same time promote the other side and their Marxist, communist type of agendas. It's pretty much the media today. They want to trick Americans, and their slogan for September, again, is trick the Americans, is what Spirit said. That's their slogan for media in America. But this isn't just America that's going to do this. This is, again, mass media globally, no matter what country you're in. So if it's a mass media outlet, watch, they're going to be attempting to strike up emotions purposely in the month of September. And I got more of my predictions revolved around media later in this episode as we move forward. I got to rush through. I am way behind today. People are fed up. Speaking of fed up, folks are getting beyond the point of fed up, actually. And as I stated in my September forecast and predictions, September is going to be a month where we witness how fed up folks really are. This is going to be accompanied by major walkouts, strikes, protests, and even some rioting, especially as we approach the end of September and step into eclipse season, September 17th, 18th. I think it's the 17th, one of those dates. Depends on where, Spirit's like, depends on where they live. Okay, the 17th and 18th, depending on where you live. So not only that, people are beginning to get so fed up because honestly, we have all been fed up since 2020, right? But now the energies are going to have people rising up. Remember in September, it's all about calling your power back. Remember I said that in my forecast. Calling our power back and stepping into our power. That's another video that I did, a guided meditation that someone just wrote me a whole email about how amazing and it's changed their lives. I think it actually goes to somebody that sent me a present. I think they said that. Let's see. Look, was that the one? No, she said, she's talking about the 3 powerful money manifest tools in meditation. Clearing blockages really helped her. And that's, who was that? Wasn't it Sheila? Sheila R. Yep, Sheila R. We'll talk about that later. So now I'm talking about the Calling Your Power Back meditation. So check that out. But you can also look up the one that Sheila talked about. I'll put that link up later. But check out Calling Your Power Back. This is the perfect time for you to do it and to step into your power. And learn to say no to people when you want to say no. You should learn that, there's many folks out there like myself, not so much anymore, myself. The lover, nurturer, doer, giver, yes, but putting everyone else first, no, that's not me anymore. I used to be. And then I learned to say no to people. And the response I got from people when I started saying no to them was pretty shocking. Especially these were people that said no to me every time I needed something or asked for something or whatever. They always had an excuse. And then one of those friends said to me one day, "Why do you say no to me all the time?" I'm like, "Oh, how's it feel?" They didn't like that very much. Yeah, so learn to say no to people. Learn to nurture you and say yes to you for now. The month kicked off right away as we witnessed hotel workers getting fed up and walking off the job, because I said that back in my forecast for September, that we would see major walkouts and protests that could even affect the imports of goods and supplies and affect the supply chain pretty significantly. So we've seen this happen here in the United States anyway, with thousands of hotel workers getting totally fed up and deciding to walk out over the weekend. So America's massive hotel strike actually just got even bigger this morning, apparently. This article is from September 3rd from the CNN controlling news network. The Baltimore hotel workers are joining this massive nationwide strike against the 3 major hotel chains during one of the biggest travel holidays of the year. Hotel union workers are now on strike at hotels across 9 U.S. cities. As many as 10,000 hotel workers in 25 hotels stretching from Boston to the West Coast to Hawaii went on strike starting early Sunday morning. Sunday, that was, what date was that? That was the 1st. How about that? Good thing I put out my forecast before the 1st. I did put out my forecast before the 1st. So yeah, look at that. The first day of the month, one of the big predictions in my forecast already started to come into fruition. And it's just going to get better, friends. It's just going to get better, depending on how you look at it. Fred Meyer's workers in Portland went on strike as well. They're supposed to end today, supposedly. Don't think that's going to happen. Israel's National Worker Union is about to strike against the failure to bring peace to the hostage situation. Australia's largest sugar maker shuts all 8 of their sugar mills due to striking workers. So my mates down under, stock up on that sugar, friends, if you want sweetness in your life, because you might be having some major shortages with that soon. And anybody that gets their sugar from Australia. Last week, Australia had thousands of construction workers go on strike as well. So, friends, it's igniting all over the globe. And if you listen again to September's forecast, you're going to also remember, or you may be thinking about my predictions around imported goods in the supply chain and many supplies not making it to their destinations. My predictions around supplies reflected more on issues with a large port, several ports actually, and some sort of walkout or strike that could also affect goods and the supply chain, such as a trucker strike. And this isn't just in the United States. This is, again, globally. It's affecting everybody everywhere. So there's definitely going to be some supply chain issues that start to really ignite in September. There's already some, but it's going to get worse in the month of September. And speaking of that, and speaking of things being cut off, I feel some type of attack is coming to Israel to purposely attempt to stop goods from getting across to some type of an important supply chain route. So some type of an attack on a very important supply chain route into Israel. So this isn't from Israel to the strip. This is directly to Israel. And this could and likely will cause issues with food shortages in Israel and around surrounding areas. So be aware, friends in Israel. Stock up, because supply issues are coming. Planes, speaking of planes get us supplies, but I don't feel like that's going to be part of the supply chain issue. But it is an issue when we see these planes just, falling from the sky. And I'm sure y'all remember my visions of a plane falling from the sky, which sadly did come into a reality, as I said in the beginning of this broadcast, in Brazil a couple weeks ago. And the shady thing about this whole plane that fell out of the sky, which we never see planes falling from the sky, was there 7 or 8 doctors that were on board that plane that were heading to a big convention or meeting of some sort to blow the whistle on certain things that we're just not going to talk about here on this show. But if you want to know, you can go look it up for yourself and do some of your own research. I always recommend you do your own research. Look into things on your own level. After that plane went down, Spirit said that we would see planes randomly fall again in the future. Sadly, this allegedly came true in Oregon when a plane, according to some people, say it just fell from the sky, whereas most of the reports are saying the plane just crashed. So I'm not sure what it is, but there's no video of it. Remember, my vision, I saw a vision of it falling, and that vision matched up with the footage that I've showed you when that happened a couple weeks ago in Brazil. So there's no footage of this. I don't know. I would say it's more of a crash than a fall. That's what I'm getting out of that. And that caused power outages for thousands of residents and even residents that had to evacuate. So is there more to come? Well, sadly, unfortunately, the answer is yes and no. We actually will see even more when it comes to planes and accidents in 2025. We may even see a big hit around aeroplanes and sky events in October. Spirit just said that now. October, again, is a reflection of next year. So that would make sense. If we see it in October, we're going to see a lot of it in 2025, whatever it is we see. So I made some predictions in the past around planes and sky events that we're actually still waiting to come into fruition. One of those past predictions was my vision of seeing someone smuggle some type of a device that goes boom into a suitcase and I saw them, in my vision, had something in their suitcase, but I saw the security person helping them to make sure it went through security onto the little thing, and then off it went. Where it went, I guess, would be to some airplane somewhere. And if you remember, and even if you don't, I'll remind you, I strongly feel that being this came to mind today, that this is probably approaching in the very near future. When past predictions come up, it's often because we get more information about them or because they're coming into fruition in the near future. And I feel that this not only is approaching, it may likely be connected, is connected to the Middle East. Perhaps a flight connected to Egypt to Israel, or Israel to Egypt, or Egypt to Iran. But Egypt kept coming up to mind. Unless the person that smuggled it may be from Egypt, I'm not sure. But that's what I got, and it came back to me today, and I wanted to share. And as I said when I first had that vision of the plane falling from the sky, this is not normal. That is just not normal, and we're not supposed to see planes just drop. No, that's not normal. Especially a commercial plane like that in Brazil. Just very, very strange. But also, not so strange was when we hear who was on board of that plane. Again, as I said earlier, there were people on that plane heading out to blow the whistle on some things. And now we have the plane that happened in Oregon, but that was just a small plane in comparison. And no stories of anybody blowing whistles or anything like that coming from that plane. Not yet, anyway. I would think if it were true, we would hear about it by now. Now, Spirit does show me that there's going to be another leader, a leader or potential leader. So, for example, president or a candidate. And I'm not saying this is in the United States. I'm just saying a leader or potential leader whose plane is going to become their casket. And that's what Spirit said to me. Exactly those words. A leader, potential leader, their airplane will become their casket. And I believe this is actually somewhere in South America. Not sure where in South America. I know it's a big continent, but somewhere in South America. I also see a CEO's jet crashing into a forest or wooded area. And there may actually be one survivor in this CEO's plane crash. And that survivor may actually be a little girl or a child. So at least that's good news, right? A little bit. I don't know who the CEO is. And by no means should we at all be worried about traveling, because I know someone's going to ask me in the comments, oh my God, I'm traveling here, I'm traveling there. No, you should never worry about that. You should just get out and enjoy your life. Hold a vision that everything will be good. No fear, friends. Direct Mercury retrograde's over, so we're out of that cycle. We're not out completely till it's over on the 11th, so the 12th. But it's just a post shadow. You know, worst to worst, maybe some delays. Always, you should expect delays when you're traveling nowadays, especially with airplanes anyway, because they're always canceling and delaying stuff. So travel it's good. Go travel. Go see your mama, papa, or whoever you want to go visit. Although expect, again, weather-related delays, because Spirit said there's going to be a lot of upcoming weather-related delays and cancellations. I also see some kind of cancellations of flights around Italy, and I believe that's due to a volcanic ash in the sky. Now, big oil. Remember my visions and predictions around going a while back? And I didn't actually finish this year. But I went back, I told you we would see many disasters related to oil fields, refinery fires. And I said this a few years ago. And we did see that start to come into fruition. It reminded me, some of it is Desert Storm, because some of the visions I saw were like a Desert Storm. And if you remember, they said it was Saddam. I don't know if I believe that. But they knocked the caps off the gas wells and lit them all on fire. I mean, that was a big deal trying to get that out. I remember that. I think I was in my 20s. That was a while back. So we saw a few smaller scale fires in the Ukraine and Russia. But now there's more concerns around the tax on oil. So is this part of their plan, or is this part of their plan to help them push their battery-powered garbage? Russia just actually lost 74 fuel tanks. And I feel that there's a lot more to come, not just in Russia. I feel that there's big problems around oil and oil tankers in the Middle East between three places: Israel, Iran, and even around Saudi Arabia. And I see actually a big oil tanker just probably being used as a weapon. 3. Spirit says there'll be 3. And yes, they'll be used as a weapon. I don't even know if anybody's in them. They might even have a brick on the gas pedal or something, sending it in. I don't know where they're sending it in at, but I would imagine Israel or somewhere around Israel, but also Iran. And Spirit says, speaking of that area, beware of the flag that's about to fly ever so falsely. And Spirit told us this before. They really want to go in after Iran. They want that. And they want that before the elections here in the United States. They want a lot. They're crazy. I'm telling you, we've got a bunch of psychopaths running this world, friends. They want the great third world conflict. They're trying hard to make that happen, you know, and it's just less than smart, to say the least. So remember, so going back to oil fields, what else? Spirit's been warning Saudi Arabia for a while about karma and things coming their way. Something's going to happen with one of their big oil pipelines. And it feels like sabotage. We saw, and I said that there would be pipeline sabotage a couple years ago, and we know what happened to the Nordic pipeline. Yeah, we all know what happened there, which was just a disaster. That's how crazy these people are. Expect there to be more, unfortunately, sabotaged pipelines, mostly over in Europe. I see a problem with oil for Canada as well. Something to do with oil and oil imports in Canada, and also a large fire at a refinery in Canada. So, in certain places, fuel's going to skyrocket, especially when we get into 2025. Not so much this year, but 2025. And maybe also right around the holidays, December. Thank you, spirits, for that information. Let's talk about the not-so-legals, as I got to get through here. I got a lot of predictions, and I am like an hour behind schedule. So the issue with these not very legal folks entering our countries, all countries, specifically some countries more than others, that whole issue is heightening once again as we see crime in places like New York City skyrocketing, with 75% of the arrests being that of illegal immigrants. That is literally, friends, 3 out of 4 people being arrested in New York right now are not even supposed to be here legally. They're not legally here. So thanks to, there's only one person to thank, well, 2 people to thank for that, friends. Whether you want to admit it or not, JB and Harris, they let that happen purposely. Yeah, and now in California, they're allowing the illegals to vote. They're pushing this whole thing in California. California is just so corrupt and so bad. Now they want to give them $150,000 to buy their own house. What about us people? What about Americans? I want 150 grand. Yeah, I want to buy another house. Let's go buy a house. Everybody, we all should buy a house. 150 grand. Not that you can buy a house for 150 grand. You might be able to buy a cabin out in the middle of nowhere for that much nowadays. But why do they get the money? Yeah, because they just love giving all of our hard-earned money to everybody else instead of our Americans or our infrastructure. This is the point where people got to get fed up and be like, this needs to stop. The whole system in D.C. especially is so broken, corrupt, and evil. It's just ridiculous. Giving all our hard-earned money to everybody else. And if you don't pay that money, they'll throw you behind bars. So this issue and the crime, did you see, what is it, Aurora, Colorado? It's alleged, you saw the video, I'm sure you saw the video of the Venezuelan gangs busting through somebody's door in an apartment complex, and it's alleged that they have taken over the complex and are forcing people to pay them the rent. There's no validation, of course. The police in Aurora are saying that's not true, blah, blah, blah. Of course they're going to tell you that. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know the truth. And we saw the video with them busting the door. And let me tell you, you come busting on my door like that, you ain't going to get through the door. The shots that I fire at you are going to come through the door. Like, that's just wrong. This is why, and you shouldn't even have to worry about that. I remember when I was younger, grandmama and grandpa never locked their door. Never. And they lived out in farmland and never locked the door. Parents never locked the door. It's just one of them things. You didn't have to lock your door back then. Now, not only do you have to lock your door, you got to bolt your door and have something just to protect you if you're in a city. That's not right. And look at what we got going on in the UK over the past month and back in July, and what's been happening due to their borders. And look what's happening in Paris due to their borders. And it's just happening all over. And this is exactly what the globalists planned. The United Nations. It goes back to their NWO completely. And not only are they're, especially here in the United States more than anywhere, they are literally letting the worst criminals ever across our borderlines. Crime in places like Venezuela went down because they let all the prisoners out and sent them here to America. So, and probably UK too, and a couple other places, but no, most of them are here. Crazy. It's almost like surreal. Like, is this really happening? Yeah, it's happening. In Indiana, a teenage girl was stabbed when she was watching a baseball. Her little brother or big brother or whatever, her brother, watching a baseball game by an illegal from Honduras, who also tried to go after her mother when the mother tried to stop. Maybe others that tried to stop it. Luckily, she got out, and is back home after probably being stitched or whatever. I'm not sure if she got cut, but she went to the hospital and she's out, thankfully for that. And then again, we see what's happening in the United Kingdom. All with knives, too. What is their obsession with knives? Oh, because they can't get bang-bangs. That's what Spirit said, because they can't get bang-bangs. Not yet. Only ones that are connected to the gangs can. An invasion of the borders. See what that leads to. And this is about to escalate to a whole totally different level. Because you can remember my past predictions revolved around cartel wars at the borders in Texas, maybe even moving to Arizona. So we haven't quite seen that yet. But remember, I saw a lot of conflict happening around Texas, especially. I had visions of the star falling off the flag, which I believe is Texas as well, leaving the Union in the future. We'll see. Remember, next year's the 9 endings, letting go of, death of cycles, death in general, and the 9 vibration. So that could be a year where we witness that come to a fruition, the star falling off the flag. I see something huge and significant arising around our moon. I don't know. Oh, did I jump to predictions? No, I didn't. I don't know how that got there. All right. Well, here's a prediction for you. I don't know how it got there. We went from illegals to the moon. That's where they should ship them, to the moon. To the moon with you, Alice. Remember the Honeymooners? Used to love that show. I see something huge and significant arising around our moon. Spirit gives me a strong feeling that our moon is about to become a huge focus for a multitude of reasons. First will be the extremely strange activity being caught on a telescope camera going viral. So I don't know what's happening. It almost thought to me almost like an explosion on the moon. Almost like a nuke hitting the moon. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? That was my feeling and kind of my flash or some kind of flash of light coming from the moon. I don't know, but whatever it was, it's strange. Next, we're going to see some type of strange shifting of the moon. I don't know what that means, friends. I'm not clear on exactly what that means, but Spirit said a shifting of the moon. Lastly, many truths of our moon will also be revealed, including the lies and deception revolved around space travel and alleged trips to the moon. So that'll be interesting. Russia has been planning and strategizing their next big move, and it feels very brave in the aspect of the type of counterattack Russia will launch in the future. And as I said in the past, and I will say it again, Putin's going to use a surprise weapon that we haven't seen before. So perhaps multiple times or multiple weapons that we haven't seen before. He is at the point of frustration. And once the Ukraine hits Moscow hard, which they are going to do very soon, this month, I believe, the conflict is going to go into a full-fledged chaos. And that reminds me somehow of World War II. I don't know why. I don't know all the history of World War II, just some of it, a lot of it, but not a whole bunch. And I don't know if it aligns with the history, but I had this feeling like this full-fledged chaos reminds me of World War II. So perhaps what happened over there in World War II, I don't know what happened over there in their area. Not sure. I'm not sure what the tactic's going to be. But again, it reflects on World War II. But of course, it also cannot be good, of course. I see multiple attacks coming to Russia, especially Moscow, opposing forces with assistance from NATO, who will launch a massive attack, including fear attacks on the innocent people in and around Moscow. And I already made predictions around fear attacks in Moscow. I made ones in the past, and we saw the one happen in their theater. But I said there's going to be more. I just said it recently at churches and places of prayer, and perhaps even a theater again. That I feel will come first. But they're going to launch some kind of a huge attack against Moscow with the help of NATO, and I'm sure U.S. is in on it too. That is going to be the last straw. I can tell you that. That will be the last straw to anger Putin to the point that he launches these new weapons for the first time. Except I feel these weapons will be much larger than he even intended them to be, and may actually seep into nearby countries like Poland and Germany when these weapons are used. So they're actually going to be worse than what they even think they are, what their plan is. So there's a coming attack being planned on Harris and her VP candidate. Not clear exactly what type of attack this is. But what I am very clear of is that Spirit says this is just a flag with the words written upon it, false. So when you hear that there's an alleged attack on Harris and her VP candidate, it's BS. That's what Spirit said. Probably they got to make it look good. Oh, they're trying to take her out, like they did, because Trump can legitimately say they tried to take him out, and we'll try again. So maybe they want to compete in that aspect. Oh, look, they're trying to take her out too and use it to their advantage. Who knows? They're crazy. They're all crazy. Speaking of media and mass media and the amount of lies and deception, Spirit says that the new incoming energies that are meant to assist many in seeing right through their lies and deceit. So that's these energies coming in September and October, especially it's more the eclipse time. So September 17th, 18th. Through early October. That's when we're going to see many networks like CBS, ABC, or whatever these networks are in whatever country you're in, We're going to see many networks, including the controlling news network, CNN, being called out on lies and misleading the people. That part's definitely United States. Interesting. And as we enter into 2025, we are going to begin to witness the collapsing of mass media. We will see networks beginning to struggle to the point of letting go of many people that work for the networks, including some networks having to let go of their high-paid anchors or news anchors because they're paid too much. Let them go and put somebody in there cheaper. That's what they're going to do. You'll see that next year. But we'll start to see some of that this year. This is not just going to be in the United States, but other countries, including the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, India, and Canada. So all of you, keep an eye. Media's about to get their karma back. Woo! So remember I stated in my September forecast to expect issues when it comes to ports, trucking companies, and especially imported goods. I'm reminding you all of this again, this prediction, so that you realize how important it is for you to stock up on things like dried goods. And more importantly, any goods that you might want that are imported goods, whatever it is. Like rice, for example. Well, they grow rice in California. There's California rice. But if you want rice from another country than where you reside, you might want to stock up on that rice. Anything like that. Dry goods specifically is what Spirit said, because they last longer if you put them and store them correctly. And I also see China. This was a little shady here. Well, they are shady, as we know. So imported goods, again, is what you need to stock up on. And I see China pulling shady moves in the rice markets. I don't know what that means. I just know that it's going to happen. So if you plan on having rice again in the future, you better stock up on some rice right now. I have jars filled with it. I put them in jars and I took all the air out of the jars. They're good to go. There ain't nothing going to get in them. There ain't nothing going to hatch from inside them either. There ain't no oxygen in there. So rice and whatever else China's going to hog up, because Spirit shows me that they're making an attempt to hog it all up to themselves while starving others that depend on the rice. So, friends, in countries where you're dependent on rice and that's part of your daily diet, beware. China wants to starve you out. I bet you that's targeting India, and I'm not sure what other countries. I think Japan does their own rice, but it could be affecting them. Crazy. I see some type of important bridge being blown to pieces. Had a vision of that this morning. I feel this is both a bridge for vehicles, but also a bridge that a train system goes across. A train system that brings important supplies across that bridge. So I believe I'm either in Europe or in the Middle East, but I could actually be in several places, because Spirit says 3 bridges shall fall. 3 bridges shall fall, says the spirits. Remember the last time I made a similar prediction about a bridge collapse? It was only a month or two later that we saw the Maryland bridge collapse take place. I see some type of major scale issue in the subway systems and with water, both. This is not your typical vision of a flooded subway, by the way, friends. It's not the typical vision of a flooded subway from rain, especially. I feel this is much different. It was really weird, strange. And I feel like major waters were flowing into a subway system, as if somebody turned on, opened the dam gates. That's what it felt like. Somebody opened the dam gates. And I feel like it felt to me like it was sabotage of the subway system. And this water was not from rain. So I was a little confused about this. I'm sure someone will fill me in the comments. I would say that this is likely, and this would make the most sense actually, likely a major subway flood due to a major water main break. But again, it still feels sabotage to me. A major water main break, or as strange as this may sound to you, it could also be connected to some type of an explosion that causes the river or the creek waters to somehow flow into the subway system. I know that sounds a little odd. It kind of popped in my head. When things randomly pop in our head, that's the most accurate of all. So I'm not clear, and I did not receive information as to where this is happening at. I could be in New York with this awkwardly flooded subway system. If not, then something much different is going to be coming to the New York subway system, including one system that runs from the Grand Central Station, out to Long Island. So I'm sure there's probably more than one rail that does that, but this is what Spirit showed me today. So many problems, Spirit says, so many outages, and so much water. Water from major storms and water issues with New York subways as well. Different water issues. So that previous prediction that I made could be related to New York. I have a vision as if I'm walking to the train station. And when I'm walking to the Grand Central train station in New York, I'm in New York in this vision today. I was about to enter into the Grand Central Station building, and I noticed that there were policia, and they were armed, baby, with like ARs. They were armed, like military armed. That's how they were armed. And then I saw a big sign that was yellow, bright yellow. And at the top of the sign, it said danger. And then it said enter and ride at your own risk. What's that mean? Danger, enter, which means enter the building in the subway system, and ride the subway system at your own risk. Which means something's happening. Don't know what or when, but I know where, New York City. I see some type of a huge protest or even a movement forming in Canada. I'm not sure what this is all about and how this is going to play out in Canada, but I do feel that it has something to do, of course, like the rest of the world, that they are getting completely fed up. Therefore, Canadian friends, keep a watch. Keep a watch for people are going to be rising up there in Canada, perhaps against Justin Castro Trudeau. You know about that one? I'm sure you probably do. But also, Canadians, be alert, for they will come to stop you like they did the truckers. So beware. Let's take your money out of the bank first is what you got to do if you're going to go join in on that. So that way they can freeze your accounts, but you got all your money. I also see some type of an incident or accident revolved around Castro Trudeau. That involves a vehicle or SUV, like an accident or something with a vehicle. And I don't know if this is him directly or one of his family members, but something like that. I think it's him directly. Don't wish bad on people, friends. And remember, I'm pretty sure he's in his 9. He's on his way out. Not the world, but out on his way out of where he's at. Remember, he's a big weffer. The W, the E, and the F. Big one. He's like, the eyes of Klaus Schwab. So do not drink the water was another vision that I had today. And then I saw a headline, like I saw it as a headline in the newspaper. And then I saw a vision following that of a text message. As if I was looking at my phone and the text message said, water alert. Do not drink, do not boil your water and drink. Do not boil and do not, let me do that again. I got tongue twisted. Dyslexia. My words get backwards. It said in the text message, water alert, right across the top with the little line and the dots going underneath. And then underneath the water alert, it said, do not drink. Do not boil your water and drink it until further notice. Don't know what that is. The text version, the vision of the text I had was clear English. I was reading it in clear English, so I would believe that this is something happening in the United States, maybe even Canada or the UK. But again, it was very much English when I was reading it on my vision, like I was reading it on my phone. And I ask, what is this spirit? And what spirit responded to me was tainted waters, tainted waters. Warn the people, warn the folks in big cities to have a week's worth of water on hand. This includes water to cook with. I feel this is going to pass. It's short-lived. This too shall pass. But it's going to take a bit of time before it does pass, and it could even be several weeks. So this also reminded me very strongly of what happened with the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. But it felt like Flint, Michigan times 10. So way bigger, much larger. And I am pulled to the Great Lakes region, and I have a vision as if I was viewing it from the sky or Google Earth. So Spirit's highlighting the entire region of the Great Lakes, and I can only take a good intuitive guess on this particular vision. Some type of a major weather event around the Great Lakes region, perhaps major earthquakes as well. Lastly, this could also be related maybe perhaps somehow to the waters of the Great Lakes, perhaps an oil spill or some other toxic spill that affects the Great Lakes region. That perhaps, like the waters being tainted, like Spirit said. This could also, as crazy as it may sound, be a combination of all these things happening around the Great Lakes, along with an earthquake that brings tsunami waves to nearby shores. That'd be interesting. That'd be quite different. When you think of a tsunami, you think of the ocean, not the Great Lakes. And I also see a very large city fire. This is something so big and so historic as if I felt like hellfire comes to the city. Sadly, I'm getting the same feeling that I got last year right before the Lahaina fires took place. And I said that. I saw a city on fire being ignited from the sky, and it feels exactly the same to me. The city that ignites these fires that cause the city to burn. I feel like something above the city ignites these fires and causes the city to burn. And I would either be ignited using one of their Mountain Dews, DEW, from a satellite or from a drone. This could also be more than one city, as the United States did come to mind, but no particular city, because Moscow also came to my mind, and so did Europe come to my mind. So, and when I go to Europe, I'm thinking Paris, France, because I have visions today of fire around the Eiffel Tower. So that'll be interesting and see how that all plays out, and hopefully it don't play out. Other than that, friends, that's what I got, and I am way late, and this is going to be late tonight for sure. But I do have mail to share with you. First, from Sheila. Sheila R. You know what? I didn't write down where you're from, Sheila. She sent me this wonderful woof card. Woof by the artist Ronnie Simon. I love a woof. I have woofs in my bedroom and woofs in my guest room. Dear Joseph, I really appreciate everything you do and wanted to send this gift to you to say thank you so much. With love, Sheila R. She sent me this awesome thing. I opened it already. This awesome native dude, the chief, which luckily, there was a spot on my fireplace for it in my bedroom where my Native American theme is in my bedroom. And luckily, I have room for this because something broke and I have a spot. Other than that, friends, I have nowhere to put anything. So thank you for this, Sheila. I think this is awesome. I love the chief. I love the chief Indian. Thank you. She also sent me a long letter. I can't read the whole thing because we're out of time, but thank you so much for your guided meditation. I have been doing Calling Your Power back in 2024 and the 3 power... Oh, I didn't see that in the beginning. So she did do the Calling Your Power back. And then the 3 powerful money manifest tools in meditation to clear blockages. These meditations have really helped me. I am sending you this gift of the Indian warrior. Your guided meditations made me feel like a warrior. She went on, and I can't read the whole thing, but about her cat. I hope your cat's doing good now. Kitty. I'm taking care of the cat up the road for my friends, because he can't be in that house right now. It's not good. It's depressing. I got to go over there and smudge it when he gives me permission. Thank you, Sheila. You're awesome. And then my friend sent me this. Steven in Las Vegas, Nevada, sent me this whole freaking box there, Steven. A whole box, bro? Come on now. I never seen this stuff before. True lemon. Crystallized lemon. This is very useful. Put that in your water. You can put that in everything, especially when you don't have lemon. Long time no see, says Steven and his beautiful wife, Mary Ann. So he sent this to me. The crystallized lemon, citric acid, lemon juice, and lemon oil is what is in it. Will not cure a kidney stone problem overnight, but will slowly dissolve the kidney stone. So, there was this while back I thought I had a kidney stone. Well, I actually know I did years ago because it came up in an MRI, but the doctor said it was tiny. But I've had this pain back here in my back and thought it was probably related to that. It's just my thought. And then I started doing a cleanse, and I do this cleanse every morning still, which is a half a lemon, a tablespoon of really good olive oil, and a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I shoot that down every morning. But then I took some prednisone just because the doctor said, try to take a prednisone and see if the pain goes away, then it's not a kidney stone. If the pain stays, then it is. Pain went away. So it's a muscle. And then when I went and got a massage, she showed me the certain areas that were tight. But I will still use this, Stephen and Marianne, and I hope you're doing great in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you so much for your kindness and your love. And thank you all for hanging out with me on this episode number 133 of Tittle Tea Time. It's been a blast. And remember, Thursday, it's probably going to be Thursday, the release of my other channel predictions and information for 2025 will be out. So keep an eye out for that. Big thank you for hanging out with the tribe and vibing with the tribe to this point. And again, if you're new here, don't forget to smash that subscribe, the bell, the all. And please show your love by clicking that love thumbs up button to help the algorithms get this information out to others so we can get this tribe to grow, friends. Come on, 100,000 subscribers or more. Deserve it at this point. Come on, let's push it. Push it. Shut up and just push it. Oh, yeah, we're going to make it happen, friends. We're going to make it happen. We're going to manifest that big time. Thank you for your contributions, and thank you for everything that makes this free content possible for everybody else. And yes, that's a new picture behind me up there. I'm sure you all noticed it. That is actually my front yard. And I took that picture, and I thought it was so beautiful, I had to change because I was decorating, and that's why I told you I don't have no room on my walls to hang anything anymore. I don't have really any shelf space to put anything anymore. Sorry, but I just don't have nowhere to put anything. But I thank you for your gifts and your love, your contributions, and for vibing with the tribe. Till the next time, friends, remember down below, you'll find the link to the newsletter, all my social media content, and I will see you in the future. I see it in my crystal ball. Until then, celebrate life, celebrate you, and be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine, baby. Let it shine. And have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste and much love. Much love.